welcome to Maverick Live. I'm your host Luke 2, and today I'm joined by Josh Silvester.
Good afternoon.
How you doing? So today, Josh, we're talking about burnout. I mean, it's Monday, so if you've got burnout right now, it's going to be quite tough. But burnout is it's a everlasting thing. You don't know it's there until it sneaks up on you and grabs you, and you're there thinking, oh, what the hell do I do now? Or you're just really unmotivated, you feel sluggish. Pretty much how you probably felt the other week when you was off ill.
Yeah.
But burnout can be detrimental for businesses, especially new businesses which rely on the team. If you're a small team, anyone who takes like a few days off, it can be like, oh, everyone has to come together and sort this out. It can make offices come to a standstill, can't it?
Yeah, especially if you're a solo gig. Do you know what I mean? If you're on your own.
Yeah.
We talk about social media and burnout. If you're posting every single day, trying to keep up with the schedules you might have set, or if you listen to our previous lives, use one of them.
Yep.
But but it's really important to realise that if you stop for one moment, it's okay. You know what I mean, you've got to pace yourself when it comes to these things. It is difficult to keep on top of social media because it's a monster, and that's why it's a full-time job for people. People got teams to do this sort of stuff. So yeah.
No matter if it's like as a business or if it is social media, you need to put something out there. You need to be making those calls, sending those messages, and that pressure to do so. It can build and build and build if you don't like sort of switch down or switch off. So we're trying to talk you down. We're going to go through how to avoid this feeling. Sometimes it might just happen. Like there's no guarantee cure for feeling like this, because it's a mental thing. It's taxing. It's mindset. It's mindfulness. It's one of those issues where you can't just take a pill and it'll solve it, or sit down. But it's a good way of approaching it. I'd say that's what we're going to try and talk about today.
Yeah, I think that also it's knowing if you've got burnout, in a sense, if that makes sense. Like sometimes you won't even know that you're burning out on something. You could be super excited about like this new way of posting or whatever it is you're doing, but you don't realise that because you're hammering it. You don't realise you've got burnout. Like you will get fed up and bored of it within a short time space.
Yes, so we're going to go through I'd say business burnout or workflow burnout. So we're not going to just focus solely on social media, even though that's quite a taxing thing, especially when we talk about social selling a lot. Content's such a big thing, like you mentioned, and having to keep churning that out can be quite taxing. It's why we do courses on content that converts, because it shows you your value for your business and it makes posting a lot easier. But I'm going to start off my first point, which is about scheduling your day. So when you're feeling most burnout is when you've got a lot of tasks ahead of you, or you're continuously working and you kind of feel yourself being a bit fatigued or overwhelmed. A lot of the time it could be because you're continuously working day in, day out, maybe from like 8 a.m. to like 4 p.m. and then at 4 p.m. stretches to 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. and then before you know it, you've been working like 12, 14-hour days. So scheduling your day is a good idea because it shows a cut-off period. Like at the 5 o'clock is when you will stop doing your work, or at 6 o'clock is when you'll sit down or take a break. So scheduling the day can really help that. Yeah, I
mean, you can schedule in your day to, like talking about productivity, like when you're most productive in a day. That's probably your best bet when it comes to that. Like, I find that mornings for me, I'm so much more productive. That's why I have like in the morning, I'll be really productive in my work, and then I'll have like almost like a mini burnout period towards the later part of the day. Yeah. And then when it goes, then I'll get like a second win later on. I guess that really could help you when planning your day.
To have you breaking your lunch and a sit down and just collect your thoughts. Especially when I do my writing as well, I'm the same, where I'm way better in the morning, but if I try and do it in the afternoon and I try and push too hard for myself, I get annoyed by obviously the performance of it. I'm just like, okay, I know I've written better than this. The reason why I'm doing so is because I'm pushing myself to get this done. But when you do that too often, you get a poor result from it.
Yeah, and I think that's where the burnout comes from. It's like, obviously we're really self-critical of our own selves, and if you're seeing this productivity and what you're doing in the mornings, or whenever it is, the case may be for you, you get to that point in the day and you're like, oh, I really am burning out actually. Like, I'm not as...
Or we all work different, don't they? Yeah. So some people are better like maybe in the midday or in the afternoon, or some people are morning people. So my next point actually is creating a reliable team. So it's having the ability to step back or ask someone to like help you with an issue you'll be having, or to just unload some of the work on. Because if you're just taking everything on, especially if you're a business owner or entrepreneur and you have no support with you, you can just be taking on every single job, no matter how big, no how small. So really figuring out what is essential for you to work on and what you can give to someone else to help you or aid in, especially if you're a team owner.
Yeah, I think like delegating, like as you said, you can see that in a lot of business owners. They will literally do everything themselves, especially if it's like a small to mid-sized business.
Yeah.
And also when you're talking about burnout, I think when you're delegating tasks and actually like working in a team, you can kind of, it's almost like you spur each other on. It's that like team spirit, and you'll find that will really, really help you when it comes to not burning out on tasks in your day.
Yeah, I think coming up in the week, we're talking about creating a company culture. I think I've got Martin on for that, which will be interesting to watch. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, it's formulating a good team behind you can help raise you up, especially push you forward. Because if you are working just on your own, or if you just sort of feel singled out within the company itself, you can kind of feel yourself dipping because you're not working together to try and. It doesn't motivate you to push yourself to go forward and further. But on the opposite side of that, if you feel like you're not doing enough for the company, you can push yourself to work too hard, and then that can cause a burnout that side. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Balance.
Like, yeah, it can motivate you, but can also be the detriment where you feel like you really need to like do something to like, you know, obviously fit in or find your place.
Yeah. I think especially when like you're saying, working with people in a team. Like we said, you can spur each other on, but then it can be like, if you're in that team and you're burning out, how do I then say I need like a little break or something? But you can, it's good to take breaks all the time.
So the last one we've got is not punishing yourself for taking a break. So this can happen quite often. Someone will actually take some time off for a holiday day or just like an afternoon, and they're still thinking about work. I mean, we mentioned it just before we went on here, where especially working in the creative field, because you're always thinking of new ideas, especially when it comes to these live shows we do or any of the social posts that we create. We're always thinking about, oh, that'd be good for this, or that'd be good for this. So you're always trying to bring it into business. I mean, it's handy. You can write on your notes page, just, oh, this is a good idea, I'll write it down. But it can take it a step further where you're never switching off.
No, yeah, like you said, like when we were talking about it before, you're totally right. And I feel like some people can feel, almost if they have a holiday, they can feel guilty in a sense because they it's almost not like a missing out sort of thing, but they can't switch off because that is, it's a creative mind or whatever task you're driven to. You're trying to do your best all the time, and if you're constantly thinking of these new ideas, but you're supposed to be on, say, holiday, or it could be like 2 a.m. and you have this idea. I mean, like you said, it's good to write it down.
Yeah,
it's good to write it down, but you should. If you're doing it all the time, you're not going to sleep. You're going to get burnt out. You need to just,
There's nothing worse than having a really good idea late at night while you're in bed. You're like, I need to write this down, but you're like, my phone's over there or my notepad somewhere else, and you're just in bed going, I need to write this down somehow, and then you just fall asleep. It's so wasted. But yeah, I mean, if you, I mean, it's happened to me last night actually. I just kept having random thoughts in my head, like constant narration, nothing important, just carrying on. So I was feeling myself a little bit tired, and I feel like. You mentioned it earlier, knowing your body and knowing what it needs, and like when you're feeling fatigued and out of it, it's trying to find something where you enjoy to try and push yourself going forward. So maybe take up a really nice hobby and get you away from it, even if it's just something small, I would say. So you need to have that disconnection between your work and then the rest of your life, in a sense.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with working hard. Like, if you're passionate about something, that's great. But there is a limit to, when that's going to end, when you are, like we're saying, going to burn out, whatever. It's no good thinking of 2, 3 in the morning. You're watching the hours go by, you think, oh no, like, I've got these great ideas, but I need to sleep to be productive in the morning and hit those. A lot of the
motivational people and like YouTubers are always like, yeah, you need to give it 110% and go for it. They're not saying that because you need to keep doing it. They're saying that because if you want to create that, you need to adopt that lifestyle. But you don't have to do that in a sense. No. They've kind of pivoted now and go, look, you need this and you need this, because they see so many people and so many entrepreneurs and business owners now have got burnout. They've been flagging. They can't deal with all the hours, and they just, at the end of the day, if you don't have that sort of life-work balance, you can't be in it for the long run. It's a very short-term thing.
That's it. It's all about balance, and that's why you see a lot of people take up, like, really get into exercising all the time, because they find that that's like their almost like meditation in a sense. They can get away from working, and when you're doing that, not only are you counteracting the burnout, but you might actually come up with some of your best ideas while you're. I know we said keep your mind off it, but if you're physically doing something else, then that will help you in the long run when it comes to stopping yourself from burning out.
Yeah, which concludes the don't punish yourself taking a break. Even if that break is a workout, it's still like a break from your work life, which is really handy. Well, thanks for coming down, Josh.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.
And thank you for watching Maverick Live. We're back on was it Wednesday? For what day it was? It's Monday. We're back on Wednesday for our next show. And don't forget to subscribe to us so you'll be notified when we go live next. And I will see you upstairs, Josh.
See you there.
I will see you for our next Maverick Live.